What's up, guys? This is your boy Jalen here on another episode of Elevated Minds. Here with our man Daniel Fox, dating and relationships coach here. And we really want to dive more in this episode for the ladies. Once again, we got a lot of his followers asking, what is it to be more feminine? How can we become more feminine? Me as well, on my end, I have a lot of followers asking, how can we become more feminine? Even we did an episode on how to cultivate your femininity, but we want to take it even a step further now and show the ladies how you can dive even more deeper into your feminine and your divine feminine. So I really wanted to read this excerpt that I came across. It really describes really in depth how the divine feminine is and what it actually is. I have here, the divine feminine is yin energy. Truest nature is nurturing, motherly, affectionate, beautiful, sensual, attractive, creative, and inspiration. In its purest form, peace and harmony. She is abundance, and in the knowing of earth will always provide enough. She is intuitive and fully open to receive, empowered within. She is honored and respected. She is connected to the earth and to the divine. She is wild, free, and untamed. She ignores the unwritten rules and boundaries that society has constructed for her. She rises and paves her own way. She is unafraid to speak her truth, embrace her sexual nature, and show up fully and authentically. She allows her intuition to guide her. She lives in the cyclic rhythm of the moon, the seasons, and the wheel. She understands the sacredness of life and trusts that all of her needs will be met. And so I just thought that was a really amazing description of what divine feminine energy is. And I really just believe that what's happened during the last probably 10, 15, 20 years is the divine feminine energy has been suppressed. And we don't have a lot of women that are in their divine feminine nature that women can look up to, that women can see and see, oh, this is an expression of feminine divine nature. It's kind of been lost in translation. The society now has adopted more masculine principles, masculine ways of life, which there's nothing wrong with masculine. We need both feminine and masculine. But when we suppress the feminine, the divine feminine, that's a huge imbalance that we've been endured here. And so we're seeing a lot of women that have totally lost their connection to the divine feminine energy and their divine feminine nature. And this is really what the divine radiance, that feminine energy is. That's where it comes from, that divine feminine energy. And so when that is lost, then you have a lot more masculine women. You have women that are dwelling more in their masculine energy, which causes an even more imbalance. And some of those masculine women, come across feminine men. It's just a whole huge imbalance in today's society. And so what this excerpt was kind of talking about, which I thought was really cool, and I think that a lot of women are going to really get some value out of this episode, is divine feminine energy is inside all of you. It's inside all of you, and femininity is your superpower. And so in this episode, really just want to talk about what women can do to tap more into that divine feminine energy, what that is going to do for you, and just the different ways that you can go about it so that you don't have to just stay stuck and feel overworked or feel so much you're masculine, you're tired, you're burnt out, you're not getting the results in life you want. You feel like you want to be more feminine, but you just can't get there somehow. This is really what I kind of want to dive into on this episode.
Perfect. Listen, there's a couple things about that list that kind of went by. They whizzed by my head. I was like, I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
And one of the things that I put up a video earlier this week about mothering, and how mothering energy is a little bit of a misnomer. Mothering is when you protect and provide for and bring your presence to your children.
Right.
And that's being a really great mother. But if you turn that into your relationship, if you turn that I keep saying motherling, if you turn that mothering energy into your relationship with your dude, with your man, it's masculine energy. Protection, provision, and presence are all masculine energies. And so what works as for being a mother when you're with kids, when you're with little ones, when you're bringing that care to them, doesn't work in the other pair, in the pair with your romantic partner, because those are masculine energies. And so people get, you have to really walk this one slowly, because, if I say it too fast, people are going to hear, you think mothering is masculine, and then it's just all kinds of things go off. The role of a mother is to provide, to protect, to care for her kids. She's the one that is giving in that pair. But polarity, the masculine and feminine energies, only exist in a pair. So if you change the two parts of a pair, then the roles change. So if you're trying to protect and provide for and bring your presence to observe a man's creative and emotional expression, or his feelings, all of those things are masculine traits, and you're going to push him into his feminine. So the mothering thing has to come into the context of with your kids specifically.
Absolutely. And I did want to stress that too, because I do run into a lot of women that say, I feel like I'm just his mom, I'm his maid, I'm cleaning up after him, I'm doing all these things for him and treating him like he's my son. And yeah, that's going to depolarize the situation, because a woman can't be like you said, a mother is protecting, providing, provision, all that stuff. When you're doing that with your man, that's just not going to work. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. When it was coming from here, I think the context meant for offspring or even mothering situations, because kind of what I wanted to talk about more is ways that women can cultivate their nurturing qualities. That's kind of, that's kind of something that I wanted to talk about later on. But we can kind of go into it since we just
let's talk about it.
Yeah. So a lot of women, they look at femininity as a weakness, and femininity is a strength in its own right. But people think that, only masculine is strength, but it's not true. And women have a special quality of nurturing that us men don't have when it comes to offspring, when it comes to, I always say, like, with women, you can even nurture plants. Like, I know a lot of women love to have plants. Like, they just love to have, water them and, take care of them, make sure they're cutting off the leaves in the certain parts and just watching them start from these little sprouts and then grow. And it's almost like a symbolism. Women have a very strong nurturing nature when it comes to, plants, animals, children. A lot of women like to have, cats or dogs or some type of pet that they can take care of and nourish. And that does something to a woman internally, instinctively, because you're nurturing something. You're actually, you're nourishing it. And, I was reading something also about how, there's a lot of women that look at these different traits as just low. They look at it as weakness. They look at it as, I don't think I should be nurturing. I don't think I should be caring. I don't think I should be loving because, I'll get taken advantage of. And someone will just use what I'm doing and just use it for their own benefit, which I understand that might have happened to some women. But one of the things that we have to, or that ladies have to do, is move past those wounds that is blocking you from being nurturing, or look at those wounds, or look at those situations that you've been in that went the opposite way or didn't work out in your favor. The thing about feminine energy is flow. It's still being open. It's still being open to receive. It's still open to love. And if you're closing off your nurturing portion of your heart and your soul, you're actually cutting off a part of yourself, because that's just a piece of what femininity is. It's a huge piece of it, actually. And by nature, a woman is nurturing. So if you're cut off from that, you're not feeling like a very nurturing person, or you're just not feeling that you want to give, or that you don't want to open that part up of you to someone, or to to a child, or to a plant or animal, whatever it is. There might be some wounds that you have to tend to that has come across and has kind of blocked you. It's blocked you in a way, and it's holding you back from being the full 100% divine feminine woman that you are.
Beautifully said. I'm going to speak out of turn here, and that is because I'm going to talk about a woman's cycle. So like once a month, for a lot of, I mean, I'm totally out of my depths here. Like, I'm not an expert on this cycle, but
it's funny that you're saying that. We'll keep going, but this is something I have written down also.
So there's this uncomfortable body sensation, uncomfortable, painful, sometimes excruciatingly painful, depending on who you talk to and what's going on. There's these painful body sensations once a month that are the churning. It's bringing your awareness back into your body, and some women like pop some Excedrin. They try to not feel so much pain because it's really hard. But here's this reminder every month that something in your physical body is looking to take something and turn it into life itself. It's from that pain, life itself is going to emerge. And there's also this reminder too that something about the body of a woman, like the physical body, should have awareness brought to it on a regular basis, because that's the source of her intuition. I mean, women, the whole body is this antenna. It's this receiving of wisdom. And so if you're walking around in the world as a woman and you're just up here, you're just in your head and you're disconnected from your body, you're not going to have as much access to your intuition as you would if you really followed your cycle down into your womb and brought attention to that pain and that discomfort on a regular basis. Much like the physical pain of your cycle, there's also emotional pain that needs awareness brought to it. And the more you bring awareness and feel that emotional pain, that's actually the healing process. When you bring awareness and you feel your emotional pain, the armor, the masculinized armor that keeps you safe, we'll put safe in quotes because it does, right? It protects you from the bad stuff happening again that has happened to you. But when you go in and resolve and bring awareness and attention to those things that feel bad, the emotions that feel bad, and you can clear them and resolve them, that's the path into a deeper femininity. That's the path into all of those things that you described as the divine feminine expression. They happen by bringing your awareness into your body in uncomfortable situations like your cycle, and bringing your awareness into your emotions and the uncomfortable emotions because things have happened to you. When you bring your awareness to those things, you feel them, you resolve them, and you open up and you start to be that radiant, relaxed, just trusting, open person again. And I know the comments I'm going to get. It's not safe. It's not safe. I did it before. It's not safe. Yeah. Yep. I mean, whatever you say is going to be how it goes.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to say before you do the work, or it's not worth it to do it again. Okay, that's the life. You can live that life. Or you could say, you know what? Maybe it's worth a shot. Maybe an open heart, maybe a bruised and open heart is better than a closed one. It's possible. It's possible to live like that.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? It's like whatever story you tell yourself, that's what's going to happen. So it's really that healing that you have to go through. And that what you just touched on is actually what I wanted to touch on next, which is really cool. That's so cool because with the divine feminine, really wanted to talk about the cycle and how powerful the cycle actually is for a woman, and how powerful it is when you look at it in the form of the moon, because they look at the sun as masculine energy, they look more of the moon as feminine energy. And what women from years before, from the beginning of time, they look to the moon for their connection through the cycle. And so as the moon has cycles, the woman actually has cycles that connect with the moon, which is really cool. I read up this really interesting excerpt that women should look at. It talked about how embracing your menstrual cycle, just like the moon cycle, it represents the cycle we see in Mother Nature, and just like the different portions of the different cycles. So there's the waxing moon. They call that one the pre-ovulation phase. So in this phase, energies expand and shift outward. So energies are really strong within the woman, and so the creativity is very high. And this phase is good to explore, play, and create. So there are different phases of the moon that kind of correlate with the menstrual cycle. The next one is going to be the full moon. This is also known as the ovulatory phase, time of nourishment, expansion, and celebration. This is going to be a time where feelings are going to be very heightened, emotions are very intense, but it's a time to unleash your feminine energy by following your heart and soul and be led by the divine. So in the full moon, it's showing like this is the ovulatory. This is the things that women can be doing while you're in your ovulatory phase. Then it's talked about the waning moon, time to journey inward. Just like what you just said, time to journey inward. Harvest what you've grown and complete anything you want finished in this cycle. Take a look at what's working for you and what needs to be released or given more attention. So this is the time where you look inward. You're looking at, okay, what am I feeling right now? What pain are you feeling? Is there anything that you need to be looking at? Is there anything that you need to be focusing on more of or less of? Releasing, because you're getting ready for the bleeding phase, which is the final phase. The new moon is what correlates with the bleeding phase. It says the sun and moon align in this phase, which signifies masculine and feminine energies. It's a time to be still, tune into what's emerging within you, and plant new seeds of intention. Receive inner wisdom flowing through you and connect with the divine. Tap into your intuition and write down anything that comes up. And I thought that was just really cool how it talked about how the moon goes through phases and nature goes through phases. And it's just so much like the woman and the different emotions, like the weather and the phases that they go through. And it talked about how women, we used to look at women as the timekeepers. We used to look at women as their cycle was representing the times of the year and the times of the seasons and different things like that. And I just thought that was really amazing how the female anatomy, the body of a woman, was actually looked at as sacred. It was looked at as a way to look at what's going on in the world or information that we can get from the world and from nature. And I just thought that was just really a beautiful thing because, a lot of women look at the menstrual cycle as just, oh, it hurts. Like you said, I just want to pop some pills and just feel better and just eat some chocolate. But if you really tune in, you can really tune into your body. There's things that your body might be telling you. There's things that it could be a very sensitive time that you could be getting information from the divine. There's things that you could be cultivating within you. Because like we said before, the woman is the cultivator. She's the incubator. She's the one that brings things forth into birth. And women go through men are very linear. We're very like straightforward. We see straight ahead. We work straight, and a woman is cyclical. She works in cycles. And I thought that was just really such a beautiful thing. We're so different, but we work together. We are the yin and yang, are two pieces of a full puzzle that when we put it together and we do things the way that the divine and life intends for us to work together, then, you can't beat something that when you're doing it the way that it was always intended to be. And I just feel like now today we've kind of lost that. But the good news is every woman has the same capability to do this. Every woman has the same capability to tap into their divine feminine. Reject the things that you've heard, like the misconceptions that you've heard of femininity being weakness, and the masculine way is the only way to go, or you need to embody your masculine energy to get through life. Too many women have been doing that for years, and it's not getting them anywhere, and it's really not going to help men when it comes to relationships. If a woman is in her feminine or masculine energy and the guy is in his masculine energy and you're not embracing your feminine energy, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing the world a disservice. You're doing your possible relationship a disservice. And it was just reading all this stuff. It's just such a beautiful thing to me, just seeing how important women are and divine feminine energy is and what it can bring to the world.
It's awesome, man. Yeah. And you said that every woman has access to this. And I think that's That's true, and it's not as easy. There are different sets of circumstances that everybody gets, and so accessing a woman's innate radiance or innate femininity is going to be harder for some than others, depending on how they were raised, depending on their obligations and the stuff that they've got to carry out in life. And one thing that's happening now is that women are holding down big time jobs, big time, high demanding jobs, and then they're asking me, how do I pull myself out of this job? How do I pull myself out of this masculine energy that's demanding me to work and to be on call all the time and to just do and to tell people what to do and to just drive forward? And I've actually got I've got a program I put together. It's a free program, and if you go to my bio, you can sign up. And it's just literally how to become more feminine, and it's specifically for women who have careers. And so it walks you through over a couple emails. It just goes right to your inbox, and just walks you through a couple of things that you can do to start this journey. I mean, just beginning stuff, right? But it starts with self-care. It starts with prioritizing the normal self-care stuff. So I've got that split into physical self-care, emotional self-care, and spiritual self-care.
Nice.
And there's like a little tips and tricks that we can do to dial that in. But it is about getting back to your body. It's about respecting your femininity, respecting yourself and your self-worth enough to say, okay, I'm not going to be subject to a boss hitting me up at 4 p.m. on Friday telling me I got to do something and get it to them no matter what the cost. Like, I am worth enough to put a boundary up. Yes. I trust myself enough that if I get fired, I'm going to find something else. I can do this. I value myself. I value my body. I value my nervous system and my adrenals enough to say, no thanks. And then how do you put that in a way that works with your corporate culture? Because you can't just say, no thanks. There are ways that you can put that, and every office is different. Some are really accommodating, some are really aren't accommodating. But there are different ways that you can use feminine communication to communicate that, to inspire your coworkers, be they men or women, to come to your aid and to solve a problem that includes your self-care now as a part of the problem. And how's anybody going to know unless you speak up and advocate for, you're like, my femininity is important. My body, my adrenals are important. My nervous system is important. My family is important. I deserve to have my needs as an employee considered in the demands of work as well. So I'm going to make them known so that the masculine energy at work is going to be invited to solve this problem. And we'll see if they're actually devoted to me. We'll see if they actually care. It'll be a bit of a litmus test. Maybe somebody will say, you know what? Your self-care is important. Let's figure out another way to do this. Or they might say, no, screw you. You're on the clock. You do what we say. In which case, there you go. That's information about whether you should be there or not, whether they actually care about you.
Absolutely. Like that. And that's one other thing I wanted to touch on is women a lot of times look at boundaries as a bad thing, or it makes them feel like they're hurting the other person, or their needs are just as important too. But it's like, you got to remember your needs are as important as well. And one of the things I read on is incorporating self-care for a woman every single day, even if it's just one thing. It's just showing you that you are a priority, that your femininity is a priority, and that you are going to make sure that you are doing these things every day to make sure that you stay in that. Just like you were just saying, if you allow the job, just say, oh yeah, you got to work this day, and oh yeah, I need you to make sure this is done, or oh yeah, I know you're off today, but can you just make sure you get all these emails sent in and do this or this? Be okay with setting boundaries, because a divine feminine woman knows how to set boundaries, and it's a good thing and it's a healthy thing, because anything that's going to interrupt your feminine energy or your rhythm or your flow, that is going to be something that you need to back off from, or you need to make sure that you're putting that wall of, hey, I'm trying to make sure that I'm feminine for my husband, or I need to make sure that I'm staying in my femininity for my creativity, or I had to make sure I'm not getting burnt out. Whatever it is, you got to make sure that you're putting that up, and that's a sign of strength and confidence. Another trait of a divine feminine woman. People think that a divine woman is just submissive and just quiet, but that's not just the case. There's many pieces of a divine feminine woman. You can speak up for yourself and it's still feminine. You can do it in a way that's feminine, but you're still getting your boundaries across. And making sure that your needs are being met in a way that it's still, you can still serve other people. You can still make sure everyone around you feels loved and feels nurtured and feels nourished and all these things. But you got to make sure that you're not counting yourself out. Because when you count yourself out, that is when it becomes a problem, because that's going to leak into other parts of your life. And that's not going to serve you or anyone else in your vicinity, because now you got a negative piece of you that's being pushed out because of one thing, because you decided not to put out boundaries, or you decided not to say no, or you decided you didn't want to deal with any of the self-care. And one other thing that women can do is, it starts in the very beginning of the day. Creating some type of a morning ritual can actually help you to set the tone for your femininity for the whole rest of the day. So this could be, if you're into yoga, you can do a yoga practice in the morning before you go to work, or you can do some journaling, or you can do some prayer, or you can do something. You can do anything that makes you feel feminine, but do it every single morning. It starts off your whole day.
Yeah, man, there's so much good stuff here. I did want to talk about, I get some comments sometimes, and I don't know if you do too, but if you haven't yet, you probably will, about who the hell do you think you are talking about femininity? You have no idea. And by the way, this is like part of a larger cultural conversation, which is like, you can't know our struggle. You can't know anybody's struggle. You can't know what somebody's been through.
Right.
Like, we are a class that has had an experience that you need to shut your mouth. You cannot address. You cannot speak to anything. Right. That's the bigger overarching thing in this culture. I call bullshit on that. I just want to say, like, no one can know anything about anybody's lived experience, be it privilege or struggle, anywhere along the line, right? But we still need each other, and we still need to use words to, like, get the information across and get the wisdom across and ask questions and provide answers. Because, like, I may be over here in a super privileged bubble having learned some shit that is going to help you. And if I just say, like, oh no, I can't speak to Jalen because he's in a protected class, then you don't get my wisdom, right? I've had the privilege to, like, been able to spend some time and dig deep in some stuff. If I don't share that with you, if I don't risk offending you, you could just be like, you don't know what it's like to be me. No, I don't. By the way, I have no idea what it's like to be you. But from what you're sharing, I think I got some stuff, and I want to give it to you as a gift.
Right.
And vice versa, right?
Absolutely.
So let's map this back to being men talking about femininity, because we have no idea what it's like to be in a female body. Just we won't. I won't ever. It's not going to happen. And women they don't know what it's like to be in a man's body. So already we have this chasm that will never be bridged in this life. You got one life, we're in one body, and so this is all we got. Should that keep me from sharing what I've studied about the spiritual traditions and my lived experience as a man about what masculine energy is and what it's like to come into proximity with a feminine woman? Should that keep me from sharing that? I don't think so.
No.
To pull a little, hide it under a bushel. No, I'm going to let it shine. This is what I have. Like, this is part of my gift to the world, which is to say, I know what it's like to experience femininity because because of the law of polarity. I can feel when a woman is coming at me with a masculine energy. It feels like trespass. It feels territorial. It feels irritating. There's a lived experience I have when a woman comes at me with a penetrative energy. And I use that to calibrate what's happening. I use that, if somebody comes at me in an attempt to emasculate me, or maybe they just don't know this stuff and that's just their habitual way of being, I sense it. And because I've studied this stuff, I know where it happens. I can, like, line by line deconstruct it and say, all right, this is where you were penetrating. This is where you were trying to provide or protect or bring your presence. This is how the dynamic flipped and how it was emasculating. And the whole goal is just to help us get along better. You know, I want to help men understand women. I want to help women understand men. And this is the best technology out there to do it. This is the best modality I have found to do it, because it's so beautiful. But I have to bring it. You know, I have to cross the line and say, okay, are you ready for this? Are you ready for a man to tell you about femininity?
Right.
Because hold your, you know, like, here it comes. There has to be like a level of community, a level of humility, a level of like respect for each other. I come at women with a ton of respect for their experience, and I also come with a gift. I come with my experience of women as a gift. I come with my background as a gift, and I come with my privilege as a gift, and I come with my struggles as a gift. It's all here for us to share.
Yeah, I think that's just so great, because there's something you said about sharing your truth, and I think that was just a really awesome thing, because I feel like we experience life in different ways. So the way that you're presenting it to the world, and you're from your view, from what you've experienced, it's not only doing you a service because you're able to get your truth out, but it might not resonate with every single person, but who it does resonate with, you've done your part. You've literally shared your truth, and you know, not everybody's, like I said, not everybody's gonna accept that, but you've literally shared your truth, and everyone has their own views of how things happen, or perceptions of how things happen. But you don't know that your truth could actually touch someone. Your truth can actually hit someone else and spark something else in them, and then they're going to see something through their mind or through their perspective, and they're going to share it with who's around them, and then that's going to, you know. And so I think that, like you said, this technology, you can reach anyone in the world, and I think it's just an amazing thing that we can share our truths from right here. You're in Colorado, right? And I'm here in California, and I can share my truths with someone in New York, or someone in India, or someone in Ohio, and you're gonna hear me. They're gonna hear you. They're gonna, you know, see our point of view. And you know, because a lot of I had someone ask me, I think it was a few weeks ago. They said, I've been watching a lot of your stuff, and I just don't understand. You're not in a relationship, but you're giving relationship advice. What makes you qualified? And in that moment, I was like, dang, she's right. I'm not in a relationship. But I've been in plenty of them. I've been in long-term relationships. I've been in short-term relationships. I've been in situationships. I've been in short-term dating. I've been in fling. I've been in everything. And every single experience I go through, I try to learn something from it. I try to take something from it. What can I learn from this? What did I feel with this? And I just gather all this, compile it, and then figure out what I can do to use it for future reference. And I want to share that. I want to share that information with anyone and everyone that I can help with, because there's some people, you know, some people go through this stuff that we're talking about, and there are people that are stuck. There's some people that really don't know what to do. And I'm not telling you guys that this is what you should do, but I'm saying that this is what worked for me. This is what works for Daniel. This is what we've seen that can actually help. So, you know, take it or leave it as you will, but we're putting it out there. You know, it is God's work, because through our experiences, we've grown and we've gained knowledge and we've gained wisdom. And what type of person would I be to not share that wisdom with other people that are going through something similar, or going through the exact same situation, that can, you know, we can help you through that. So with the ladies saying what gives us the right to be telling you these things of how to become more feminine, we're giving you our version of the perspective of what we've experienced. We've experienced what happens when we are more feminine and the woman is more masculine. We've seen what happens when the woman is just stuck in her masculine, wants to stay there, and is not even willing to try to let you move her back into flow and move her into feminine energy. You know, there's women that feel as if masculine energy is where they're supposed to be, because that's where they've been for so long. And, you know, everyone's going to have their different truths, but what we can do is help you guys in the best way possible, which is sharing our experiences, our views, our perspectives, things that we've experienced, and really just spark the minds of you guys. If it resonates with you, then that's great. I'm glad. If it doesn't resonate with you, hey, that's great. And the ones that just sparked your mind, that's even better, because a lot of the people that it sparks your mind, it's like a seed that we're planting, and the seed is going to grow. You might think about it later on, you might be frustrated, but that's what I've learned is sometimes people don't understand what you're saying right away, but it kind of grows and grows and grows and grows, and then you might hear someone else say it later on, a month from now, or you might hear your auntie or your sister or your brother say something about it, and it's like, I remember those guys on TikTok said something about this.
It's true. I have a hard time with that when people are just like, no, they get angry, right? Because it confronts their model of the world. And so I don't like that. Like as a human being who cares about other people feeling good and living good lives, like I don't want to piss people off. Right. That's like not my point. But if we're having a dialogue, it's churning, like we're in a dance together, even if what I say inspires somebody to just come at me with a completely opposite point of view, that person spoke their truth at their life right now, and they're going to, have to stand behind it, and they're going to have to think about it, and they're going to have reactions to that. And the conversation goes forward and it develops. It's not like, I like to think I'm the final word on this, but we're not. We're just participating in a dialogue.
Exactly. The best part of it is we're not coming at it in, oh, this is what you should do, or we're trying to be forceful, or what you're doing is wrong. It's all out of love. It's all out of love. We want all the ladies that are watching to be able to have the type of relationships that they want. All the men watching want you to have the relationships that you want. This is going to help us all understand each other better. It's all about coming together. There's too much division today. There's just too much division. Oh, yeah, men are dealing with this. Oh, women are dealing with this. And, it's just too much arguing back and forth. That's what I'm seeing a lot of. But I'm also seeing a lot of women stand up and speak accountability for women, and accountability. Men are coming and speaking accountability for men. And I think that if we continue this, we're going to finally get to the point where we can kind of see a middle ground. And we can finally get to that middle ground, then you're going to see, okay, you're not wrong. I'm not wrong. We're just really just trying to figure this out and figure out how we can combine together, how we can come together in unity and harmony, instead of arguing, instead of trying to get our needs met, instead of taking. What can I do to give? What can I do to become more feminine? What can I do to become more masculine? What can I do to become someone with integrity? How can I become a woman of grace? How can I become a woman of serenity? These things that we can do instead of pointing the finger, because it all starts. Yeah, dude. It all starts within.
Have you seen that show on? I've just seen it on TikTok. I'm sure it's on YouTube. It's like Whatever. They just have like the diagonal in the background just says whatever.
No, I haven't seen it.
Like repeated. Okay, so it's this one guy. Like I think the host is like the same dude. He's probably 24, 25, and then he has these young women on who are probably between like 19 and 22, and the whole show is set up to like expose how selfish and shitty these young women's attitudes about men and dating are. They'll like kind of trap them in this like, gotcha, double standard. and so it's well produced, and the points that the guys make are good. They're interesting points. And it took me a second because I got pulled into it, but then I realized, not all dialogue about men and women is created equal. Some dialogue is happening down here. Some dialogue is happening, I win, you lose, at a real low level, like a level where you're like, why are you even doing this to yourself? Like, why would you even want to be in a relationship? There's so much fighting, there's so much hate, there's so much division. And then you have a little bit more maturity or consciousness. You bring a little bit more understanding to it. And then you have some of those dialogues, which are they can still be a little combative. Like, well, yeah, but I only did that because they did this to me, And that's what I call like the chicken and the egg problem in polarity. Like, well, women only behave like this because men hurt me. And then you ask the men, well, like, I only behave like this because I didn't have any space to lead. Well, you didn't have any space to lead because men didn't step up and lead before, and I had to be the one to lead. Well, we didn't step up and lead before because we never had role models. And so on and on and on it goes. And at some point you get to a level of consciousness where you're like, we got to put an end to this. Like, this will cycle forever. It'll be a cycle of blame. It'll be a cycle of staying in disempowerment. So what are you going to do to stop that and actually start living a life where you're like, I enjoy women. I enjoy men. I enjoy being in a relationship. I enjoy working things out when they get difficult. I enjoy learning about myself. And to that, you have to say, whoever was the precursor to this, doesn't matter. It starts with me. It stops with me. Whether I'm a woman and I take responsibility, or I'm a man, I take responsibility. Whatever I have to be responsible for, it's mine. I'm going to do it. You know, did I mess up in the past and not cause somebody pain, which caused them to behave in a poor way back at me? Yeah. All right. Stops with me. I'm sorry. I'm going to fix it. We're going to step in. We're going to do something right. If you're a woman, instead of looking at like how you've been mistreated, do the healing. And then that, you know, you'll have another chance to invite healthy men into your life again. Because if you're not healed, you're just going to recreate that same pattern. So there's a level of dialogue around relationships that really is unity. It really is exploring and seeking unity. And then, you know, kind of once you're past that and you can actually live in unity with each other, then you can go on and create whatever you want. You can manifest visions. You can manifest whatever you want into this world in that dyad. You don't have to be stuck in your relationship drama. And that's the whole reason why I'm doing this, is like, okay, we got to solve this piece, because unless we solve this piece, people are just going to be stuck spending their time and energy and sadness, self-medicating, blaming, yada, 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 in their romantic partnership, when the whole world needs their gifts. Absolutely. So let's fix this so that we can kind of go make some cool shit out there, that we can go love some people, we can go create community, we can have family dinners, we can sit around the fire and sing songs and raise our kids well and change the world. But first we got to solve this problem of the drama between the two. Yes.
At 1000%, I believe number one way that we can do this, everybody's got to start asking themselves the hard questions. You got to ask yourselves, okay, I'm like this, I'm experiencing this, why? What did I do to get me here? What did I see growing up to think that this is the way that relationships should be? What did I grow up seeing, thinking that this is the way that I'm supposed to treat women? What you got to ask yourselves the question, what got me here? What makes me so defensive? What makes me so closed off? What makes me feel like this is the way that I need to be as a woman? What did I see as a man? Did I have a man in my life? Did I, have a father figure to show me what a man is supposed to be like? Ask yourself these questions. You really have to ask yourself these hard questions, because it starts from asking these questions within. Nothing else outside is going to change until you start to ask yourself. And be honest. Be honest with yourself. Really sit with these questions and ask, what did I do? What actions did I take? What did I see? What did I experience to get me here? Once you can answer those questions, then it's reverse engineering. Okay, so this got me here. Now, that means if I didn't have a father figure in my life, maybe that means I should find a father figure to replace the father I didn't have. Or maybe I should start getting into a congregation or a group of people where I can have like a manly figure in my life. Or have a view of what a positive woman is like. Or maybe I should go to therapy, or maybe I should, start sitting with my feelings, start asking myself, okay, I remember the reason why I'm like this because my mom wounded me when I was this age. And, I kind of carried that all up until now. And now I treat everyone else with this bitterness and this anger and this hate that I have for my mother. Well, they didn't do it to you. The world didn't do it to you. So you have to, take that accountability. What do you want? A better life? Do you want to have meaningful relationship? Do you want to have a loving husband and kids and a community and working together in harmony? Do you want that? And if you can say yes to that, then the next question is, okay, now that you figured this out, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to heal? Are you going to figure out which part of this is you're doing and take the accountability and do the steps that it takes to fix this? Because once you can ask yourself these hard questions, you got the answers to it. This goes for men and women. If you got the answers to it, now it's like, all right, now I got to apply what I know. Now I have to fix this in the way that I can fix it. I got to do my part, the part that I can repair. I got to do the healing, the inner work that I can do. I can do the shadow work, the childhood trauma healing. All that stuff is going to just be your benefit. That's an investment into yourself, and it's an investment into your legacy. Because if you don't do that, then you still got these rooted traumas. You still got all this hate, this bitterness, this anger, this depression, whatever has happened. Maybe you've had a ton of abusive and terrible relationships. You can't trust a man, and all these different things. Well, the only way to move from that is healing. You have to figure out what inside of me allowed me to stay in this type of relationship for so long, or what inside of me allowed me to attract these types of men back to back to back. Same with men. What makes me attract a woman that's a gold digger all the time, or that only wants me for this, or only wants to use me? Ask yourself these questions and really dive and dig deep. Connect with the divine, connect to God. You will find the answers. The answers are here. They always will be here. It's just we're not looking for them. We're not asking ourselves these things. And until then, we're going to blame someone else for it. Oh, well, she did this. Or I was in a relationship and she did this, and blah, 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 blah. And, oh, they're toxic and this and that. Okay, that's, these things happen. But at the end of the day, which part do you have in it? And don't say nothing. You can't say nothing. Our realities that we experience are all due to our choices, thoughts, and actions. Choices, thoughts, and actions. What part did you have in this? And now that you've identified that, now it's time to work backwards. Okay, I gotta heal. I've gotta get rid of these limiting beliefs, these limiting thoughts. I gotta work on my childhood trauma. I've got to figure out what I view a good relationship as. If it's not a good view of a relationship, then I gotta rewire myself. Gotta figure out why I keep blaming people for what I'm doing. Take that accountability, take that responsibility, do the healing, do the work. Like at the end of the day, no one is gonna have a good, healthy relationship until they do the work. You can try and have sex to forget about it. You can try to drink to forget about it. You can try to do drugs to forget about it. You can try to eat to forget about it. You can do whatever you want. But at the end of the day, that doesn't work. It's only for the moment. It only puts a Band-Aid on a huge gash in your in your leg or your arm. You're only putting a Band-Aid on the emotional one. So until you can actually do that, we're not going to be able to have a happy, plentiful, and abundant life and relationships and what you actually want out of life, because you're blocking yourself. You're literally blocking yourself. You're going to be bitter. You're going to continue to blame and point and pass judgment on everybody else and blame everyone else why you don't have the relationship you want, or you can't seem to find the man or the woman that you want, until you look inward and until you actually do the work and actually take accountability and become the type of partner that you want for yourself. A great advice from Jay Shetty, and he said, what's some of the best relationship advice that you can do? And he was like, write down a list of all the qualities you want in a partner, and then you become that list.
Awesome. Hey, man, it's been great talking to you today.
Hey,
I appreciate everything you're sharing.
Hey, absolutely. Hey, this has been a great episode, man. Ladies, just make sure that you can cultivate your divine feminine energy. Make sure that you're not allowing the world and misconceptions of femininity to block you from your blessings and block you from the masculine man that you want, the life that you want. Just make sure that you are able to dive into that, connect to yourself, connect to your feminine energy, connect to your intuition, connect to source, God, the divine, nature, all these things, anything that's going to help you to become more feminine and to just really embrace that flow, embrace that power. That's power. And this is all about unity. So if we can all do our parts to heal and all do our parts to dive more into our divine masculine and divine feminine energies and come together to work together, the world is about to be full of harmony, love, and peace, man.
Beautiful.
Hey, stay elevated.
Áudio é foda, né? Áudio é foda, né? Áudio é foda, né? Áudio é foda, né?